I just finished restoring this about a 1923 GE fan. Measures 16 inches across. I got it at a thrift shop and proceed to take it apart and clean it, polish all the brass, clean out all the old grease, which is solid after 100 years, and clean it, de-rust it, and put new wiring on it. Got period looking wire, modern wire, but it's fabric covered and looks like wire appropriate for the period. And the fan is very heavy. It weighs 18 pounds, 17.7 pounds. And a very dangerous fan. No real guarding. Your hand could go in, and from the back there's no guard at all. You know, the old cartoons where you see them stick a bologna in and slice it up in a fan? That's no joke. It'll take off a finger and it'll put you in the hospital. And down here the switch is very interesting. It consists of the 120 volts going into a brass bar. And the brass bar terminates in that little handle. Now originally it had a Bakelite molded on handle which cracks off. Bakelite isn't very durable. It lasts hundreds of years until you hit it and it breaks. And then you got a live hunk of brass sitting there for somebody to grab. Now it doesn't have a grounded plug, and the brass bar can also touch the frame of the fan, which will electrify the whole thing. So the safety is no joke on these things. It basically for decoration now, even though it throws out a whole lot of air and it moves back and forth, it's fully functioning. It's got, let's see, you can't see it there, but that brass thing there's the oil cup, and inside is a oil wick and a spring that keeps the wick in contact with the shaft, which is riding on the bearings. They're brass bearings. Well, maybe bronze, I'm not sure. But they're not sintered bronze like the modern stuff. They're solid metal, and they're machined. They're not pressed or cast or anything. They're machined. Got threads on them to hold them in place, and it's a whole lot of work went into building this thing. A whole lot of materials. It's all cast iron, and you know, the wires that make up that are, and the fan blades are aluminum. This was one of the first years the fan blades were aluminum. Prior to that, they were brass and very heavy, and they'll take your arm off if you get it in there. But this is much lighter weight with the aluminum. It was a brand new substance at the time, and made by GE. And I turned it on. Now I made the new handle out of phenolic. Phenolic is much more durable than blows out a lot of air. There's a little control here. It's in there and it moves back and forth. Now this thing probably was purchased and plugged in for the summer. and unplugged for the pole. And it ran and ran and ran until somebody got air conditioning sometime 70s, 80s, whenever they got their air conditioning. And then they just let this sit and eventually donated it. And I picked it up and make a nice addition to the antique collection. It worked. I gotta make sure the cat doesn't get into it, or the dog doesn't stick his nose in it. And it will pick up papers and stuff from behind it, suck it through, chopping it up at the same time. It was an interesting project. How to use latex enamel, because you can't get oil enamel anymore. Spray cans didn't have the right color. Rust-Oleum still makes oil-based enamels, which I think are a lot better than the latex stuff. However, this took the original fan blade, which was this green color, and put it in the machine at the Ace Hardware, and it came up with this color, which is very close. I left some of the original paint on the emblem. When I polished it, I left the original. So you see it's a more luminous green. I don't think they can make it in latex. I believe the original green is made with arsenic and copper, but I'm not sure. It was illegal by the time this was made. However, I don't think they will watch that closely. So I was careful when I'd taken the old paint off. Use paint remover and solvent instead of just grinding it off and getting it all in the air. Getting arsenic all over the place, arsenic and lead. The old paints were very poisonous. However, 100 years later, they're still vibrant. Of course, it wasn't vibrant all over because here in North Carolina we got a lot of moisture in the air, a lot of salt in the air, and things rust up. But this held up remarkably well. It just had certain sections of paint falling off and rusted. But it works very well, and for a 100-year-old mechanical mechanism, it's amazing. Put new felt on the bottom. And that's it for my latest antique. If you like this, like and subscribe. I got other videos, other antiques, all sorts of stuff. I don't have any theme, just whatever I feel like making a video, I'll make a video. And if you like random stuff, subscribe.